Welcome back, L2 crypto community. In today's episode, we're taking a look at what is XRP on a basic and fundamental level. There's a lot to unpack with XRP as it has a rich history, great technology, and a company called Ripple Labs associated with it. XRP and Ripple Labs have created waves throughout the crypto community in good and in sometimes bad lights. On the good side, we're still waiting on a critical lawsuit between XRP and Ripple Labs and the SEC to finalize the future of crypto in the US, as well as how cryptocurrencies will be viewed, whether as securities or not. In a little bad turn of events because of the SEC, investors of XRP have been borderline targeted by the government by this lawsuit, as it clearly has suppressed the price of XRP for months on end. In this video, I want to take a look at the definition of XRP, how XRP and the XRP Ledger work, Ripple or Ripple Labs as the company behind it, and should you invest in XRP? Just a disclaimer that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and all the opinions here are of my own and for entertainment purposes based off of my own research. Always do your own research and consult a financial advisor before investing your money. Let's look at the definition of XRP. According to the XRP Ledger website, XRP is the native cryptocurrency that can be sent from any XRP ledger address to another, essentially being a convenient bridge currency. One of the major properties of XRP is the consensus process. This is a peer-to-peer payment network such as Bitcoin, but much faster and cheaper. The XRP technology's real-time settlement is 3 to 6 seconds, whereas Bitcoin is around 500 seconds. Also, if you have a few moments, I need to ask a huge favor, which is to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and smash that like button. Really helps my channel. Thank you so much. Now that we know the definition of what XRP is, let's take a look at how XRP and the XRP Ledger work. XRP is the token associated with RippleNet and is used by quite a few major banks due to its speed and transparency. XRP is pre-mined and has 100 billion coins, to which approximately 40 billion coins are available for public trade, while the rest are owned by Ripple or Ripple Lab. As XRP is traded or used to fund transactions on the Ripple network, it uses a special XRP ledger. The XRP ledger uses a consensus protocol, which is not the same as any digital asset that came before it. This protocol, known as the XRP Ledger Consensus Protocol, is designed with the following properties. Everyone who uses the XRP ledger can agree on the latest state and which transactions have occurred in which order. Most cryptocurrencies have transaction ledgers and verification processes to anyone who can run software on a computer or server that can solve complex equations quickly, and transactions are secure as the majority of ledger holders must agree with the verification for them to be added. This can really weigh down the transaction time as well as the fee for verification. According to Ripple/XRP, the ledger is maintained by independent participants of a global XRP community, of which Ripple is an active member. Independent validator nodes come to an agreement on the order and validity of XRP transactions. This agreement, called consensus, serves as final and irreversible settlement. So the ledger reaches consensus on all outstanding transactions every 3 to 5 seconds, at which point a new ledger is then issued. Anyone can be a validator, and active validators on the ledger today include universities, exchanges, and financial institutions. There are currently 36 validators, and Ripple runs 6 of them, which is 16%. The XRP ledger utilizes a peer-to-peer network, as I mentioned previously, but what we haven't covered is what's stated in the ledger. So in the ledger, you can see a timestamp, total XRP count, hash of state data, which is accounts and balances, hash of transaction data, ledger index number, a unique hash, the hash of the parent ledger, any flags, newly applied transactions, and if the transfer has actually been validated. If you don't already know, hash is essentially a string of characters like numbers and letters that is used to verify the transaction. There's quite a bit more to it, but I will be covering that in my more in-depth XRP video. But for now, I'm keeping it more towards the basics. Next, let's discuss the big elephant in the room, which is Ripple. Ripple really started way back in 2004 when a guy named Ryan Fugger had created something called Ripple Pay. This was well before Bitcoin came around, and although there was no use of blockchain technology, it was the same concept of being able to securely complete transactions on a global scale. Satoshi Nakamoto, who founded Bitcoin, even had said said that it was interesting due to the fact that it didn't just use a central server. Fast forward to 2012, it had been sold to Jed McCaleb, Arthur Bittrow, and David Schwartz, who were looking to create a digital currency network. This had ended up actually being named OpenCoin. OpenCoin had done a great job building forward with Ripple Pay code by adding on a ledger-based payment network which attracted multiple financial institutions. To the misfortune of Ripple, McCaleb left and took Ripple's code to put into a new network as we know to be Stellar Lumens, or XLM. Following this in 2013, finally, the last rename came in to be Ripple Labs. It would, of course, though, be shortened to just Ripple, but it's the same nonetheless. Fast forward to today in 2022, where Ripple has over 300 financial institutions on RippleNet, and RippleX has actually been established where you can build infrastructure and create blockchain projects. Ripple has really solidified itself as a major player that isn't going anywhere. Unfortunately for the crypto world, and most specifically Ripple and XRP though, the SEC has chosen it to be a landmark case to really decide whether or not XRP is a security for Ripple. This means buying XRP is essentially like investing in Ripple. Is this true though? In my opinion, absolutely not. The leaders may have benefited from the price increase of XRP over time, but that is not a driving factor to why XRP has gained value. Regular investors, as well as institutions, have purchased lots of XRP, increasing its market cap to well over $40 billion. XRP, as we already know, is used as liquidity for an investment, but the SEC sees all of this differently. The crypto community, as well as Ripple, are all waiting for this to finish playing out in court. But one of the big issues for the judge is that there's little to no regulatory clarity, and what clarity there is points to XRP not being a security, which leads me to our last question for this episode. Should you invest in XRP? I do believe that given time and a favorable turnout in the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, XRP is a great investment that will do well. Of course, always do your own research before investing in XRP, but my take is that it is a transparent, cheap, quick transacting coin that is able to be seized if fraud or money laundering is occurring. Yes, this is less privacy in a sense, but the trade-off of having security and less fraud in the crypto landscape is just really beneficial. Not to mention that when you look at governments and banks, as well as getting rid of the SWIFT system by 2025, you need something that is quick, cheap, and secure, and of course transparent to transact people's money. I do believe the leadership of Ripple is also very professional and positive for the crypto space, and not looking to just purely dominate by smack talking everyone else. XRP and Ripple do a great job of leading by technology and providing solutions, as opposed to screaming hodl and to the moon all the time. I do sense a lot more of professionalism with the Ripple team, more than most other teams. Ripple has a great giving back philanthropic side to them as well. Through education and sustainability, Ripple has a commitment to carbon net zero, making XRP Ledger and XRP the first truly carbon neutral blockchain. For me, those are pretty strong arguments as to why invest in XRP, but of course I leave it up to you. I agree with the XRP community in that XRP's price would be substantially higher if the SEC had not launched the big lawsuit against them, as it really is price suppression. But at the same time, this can be seen as a blessing for all communities. XRP will clearly become a baseline lawsuit for all other cryptocurrencies, with most not having nearly as strong of a case as Ripple. Some coins you can clearly tell are just scams or potential rug pulls. Their websites are terrible, and their goals are mostly to increase the amount of followers that they have on Twitter. In Ripple and XRP, you have a strong company and a strong technology. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of XRP and whether or not you'd invest into it. And that's going to be all for today, community. I really hope I shed some light on XRP and Ripple, and I'll do a more in-depth guide later on. Thanks so much for tuning in, and keep learning. Hey community, thanks so much for watching my video. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to receive a notification when a new video drops. Have a great day and keep on learning.